Let's be real for a second. The word business, it can feel a little intimidating, right? We think of these crazy complex spreadsheets, intense boardrooms, and people with super expensive degrees making decisions that feel way over our heads. But what if that's all just wrong?
Okay, so let's dig into this quote from entrepreneurship expert Josh Kaufman, because this is really the key that unlocks everything. What he's getting at is that, yeah, a business has a lot of moving parts. That's the complex part. But the basic ideas behind it all, they're actually surprisingly simple. They're based on common sense.
So that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We're going to pull back the curtain on the whole world of commerce. We're going to break it down into just a few core universal ideas that honestly anyone can understand. And here's the kicker. Every single business on the planet, from the little coffee shop on your corner to a global giant like Google, is built on the exact same 5-part framework. No exceptions. If you get these 5 parts, you can understand pretty much any business out there.
And here they are: value creation, marketing, sales, value delivery, and finance. Think of these as the 5 core engines that make any successful business go. So let's break them down one by one. Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here. A business literally cannot exist if it isn't making something that people actually want or need. And this isn't about what you think is a brilliant idea. It's about solving a real nagging problem for someone else. And check this out. The story of liquid laundry detergent is the perfect example of how the best value sometimes comes from the most unexpected places. So way back when, detergent was only a powder. A researcher at Procter & Gamble noticed something really interesting. He saw a woman waiting for her washing machine to fill all the way up with water, then she'd add the soap and swish it around with her hand to make sure it all dissolved. Now the thing is, the company's chemists knew the powder dissolved perfectly fine on its own. But that didn't matter. What mattered was the customer had this psychological need for reassurance. In solving that subtle emotional problem, well, that led directly to the invention of liquid laundry detergent, which created a whole new multi-billion-dollar market. All from just noticing that one little thing.
So here's the bottom line. The real acid test for value isn't what people tell you they want, it's what they're willing to pay for. Your friends and family telling you your idea is amazing, that means almost nothing. But a pre-order where someone actually pulls out their wallet and types in their credit card numbers, now that's real validation. That's proof.
Okay, so you've created something of real value. Now what? How do you get people to pay attention? Well, that is the job of marketing. And the best marketing isn't about having the cleverest ads or the slickest slogans. It's about understanding and tapping into the deep, fundamental drives that motivate every single one of us. And according to researchers, almost every decision we make is influenced by these 5 core drives. We all have a drive to acquire stuff and status. We have a drive to bond with other people, a drive to learn and satisfy our curiosity, a drive to defend ourselves and the people we care about, and a drive to feel strong emotions.
Now, if you want to see a masterclass in this, just look at Apple. Their products are status symbols, right? That hits our drive to acquire. Their ads are always full of friends and families laughing and connecting. That's the drive to bond. They push iPads as tools for creativity and education. That's our drive to learn. They make a huge deal about privacy and encryption, hitting our drive to defend. And you remember those old iPod ads, the ones with just silhouettes dancing? That was pure raw emotion. That was the drive to feel. See, they hit every single one. It's brilliant.
Okay, so you've got something valuable and you're getting people's attention. That's a huge part of the battle. But now we need to look at the actual engine that keeps the business running day to day. That's sales, which turns interested people into paying customers, value delivery, which is just keeping your promises, and finance, which makes sure the whole thing can actually survive.
Let's start with sales. The secret here is actually pretty simple. People don't buy features, they buy benefits. Apple never sold the original iPod by talking about its 1 GB hard drive. That's a boring feature. They sold the benefit, 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's the emotional win. And this connects directly to value delivery. It's simply about keeping your promise. If you sell 1,000 songs in your pocket, you have to deliver a device that actually does that, reliably, every single time. A fantastic sales pitch followed by a terrible product, that's a fast track to a failed business.
And finally, the last piece of the engine, finance. Look, don't let the jargon and the spreadsheets scare you away. At its absolute core, finance is just asking 2 simple questions. First, is more money coming in than going out? And second, is the money that's left over, the profit, enough to make all this hard work actually worth it? That's it. That's really all it is.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this?
Well, this 5-part model, it's not just a list of things to memorize. It's a tool. It's a new lens you can use to look at the world. You can honestly think of it as your new business superpower.
Seriously, whether you want to finally understand the company you work for so you can get that next promotion, or you want to analyze what your competitors are doing, or maybe you want to finally launch that business idea you've been dreaming about for years, this framework is your blueprint. You now know the 5 essential questions you have to ask.
Which really just leaves us with one last thought. Now that you have this lens, I want you to start looking around. Really pay attention to the world. Notice those little daily frustrations, those unmet needs, those little hiccups in your day-to-day life. Because somewhere in there, what problem is just sitting there, waiting for you to be the one to solve it?